おやおや。っていうかさ。
待ってください。
That's right. We should think about what's at hand first.
Ne. Hui. こんなの。
In the end, we still have to do it, right? As long as a killing happens, we can't do anything about it, right? We have no choice but to do it, right? Besides, it's our fault that we couldn't even prevent it. There is no time to focus on anything else. We're tired of this too, you know. That's why I'll definitely make sure to finish this for good this time. You guys are getting bored of this school trip. Don't worry. The end is near. The end. You have already noticed it, right? Two days. The killing school trip will be over.
Oi, oi.
Does that mean we can go home? You guys need to find out who Nagito's killer is and survive the class trial. If this ends here, there won't be an afterward at all. Afterward at all. What do you guys think? If the school trip is nearly at an end, it's safe to think that we can go home, right? Kazuichi, I understand how you feel, but we need to focus on Nagito's case first. Even if we can go home, it would be the end for us if we screw up here. Then let's hurry up and solve Nagito's case so we can all go back home.
ですが
It is nice to think everyone can go home, but that is impossible, right? I mean, someone in this room killed Nagito. There's a killer among us. The weight of those words began to sink into me. That was true of the previous cases, but was it really true this time? No matter how much I tried, I couldn't believe it. Because the victim was Nagito. Because his death was so abnormally cruel. No, it wasn't just that. There was something more to it than that. And whatever it was stuck inside me. The victim is Nagito Komaeda. He's as tall as I am. The body was discovered inside a warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. Laceration? What a tragic situation. Just reading this is making me depressed.
あれれ
Is there something wrong with this Monokuma file? Again, but what's wrong with it? Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore... Wait, why am I reading this again? It's definitely weird. Well, I guess I'll find out if I look around. That's what the investigation is for. Don't worry or form conclusions on your own. That makes me more worried than I should be. We can discuss it later. Right now is our only chance to investigate. So we should investigate first. If we don't, there won't be anything for us to discuss. And I guess you're right. Then let's start with the area surrounding Nagito's body. I should start with the back of the warehouse. Since the curtain blocked most of the water, this area wasn't affected by the sprinklers that much. Thanks to that, I can properly investigate Nagito's body. I never thought I'd have to investigate Nagito's body. He probably didn't expect to end up like this either. I think this is the only investigation music during the investigation phase that I don't like so far in this game. This more rocky version with the guitars. I prefer the previous one with the... which had kind of more of a jazzy feel to it. It mattered for Gundam's killing and for Mikan's. But it looks like it's different this time. It doesn't matter this time. What doesn't matter? The time. Looks like the time doesn't matter. It was clearly written in the Monokuma file. The time of death was noon sharp. If it was at noon, what were we doing at that time? Well, it's 12:30 p.m. That means Nagito died 30 minutes ago. Huh? It happened that recently? It's totally a fresh kill. Fresh seems like a bad way to describe it. If it happened 30 minutes ago, was it around the time we were struggling with the bombs? You're right. Those fake bombs were originally supposed to explode at noon. Which means whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time is Nagito's killer. But this could be like when Nekomaru died. The killer could have also used some kind of automatic setup. Also, the crime looks very detailed, so they would have needed time to prepare. Then whoever doesn't have an alibi before we found the bombs is suspicious. Wait! None of us have an alibi for that time. That's when we all split up to search for the bombs. Yeah, that's a problem. It's just kind of... It's just so hard for me to think that someone actually killed someone. Like, the people we have left, I just can't see any of these committing any crimes. I mean... Oh, God. I thought this was over. I'm not freaking out about it like Kazuichi, but I definitely can't stop thinking about it. When the Monokuma timer reaches 0 2 days from now, what's going to happen? Huh? Does that mean you don't think that will happen? Monokuma might be planning to make us do something after the countdown ends. I don't know. But this is Monokuma we're talking about, you know? There is no way this will end smoothly with a countdown. Like you said before, if we screw up here, it's the end for us. For now, let's focus on the investigation. We'll think about the countdown after we live through the class trial. Yeah. If only everyone could go home, nothing would make me happier. No, we should finish the class trial, then we can think about what will happen after. One of us killed Nagito in such a cruel way. It's too bizarre. I can't do anything except laugh. She looks like she's deep in thought while staring at the ceiling. What happened? Is there something strange about the ceiling? Yeah, about that sprinkler. That's one of the sprinkler heads that activated to put out the fire. You can see a girder right next to it, right? There. Can you see that red streak? You're right, I definitely see it. It looks like a small red line on the ceiling girder. Girder. Girder! Girder! Is that blood? The color definitely looks like blood. But there's no way blood could get up there, right? Plus, it's in a straight line. That's why I've been staring at it. I think it's strange. It's definitely strange. I should remember this. Level up. What do we have? Oh, I didn't see it. It's an oil lighter. This is where the curtains would have been hanging. It also looks like the fire did extensive damage here. If the oil lighter was placed here... Ah, an oil lighter. Someone probably wanted to keep warm. It's a most foolish thought. This is clearly the cause of the fire. Oil lighters can continue to burn even after someone lets go of them. Oh. So, using that, the curtain was set on fire. Using the oil lighter, huh? Do you think the killer set up some sort of trick with it? With it? The killer probably planned to destroy evidence by setting this warehouse on fire. They caused a fire to destroy evidence. That's the only reason I can think of why a killer would set fire to their crime scene, but... Fire grenades. Looks like a bunch of plastic bottles. Remnants of plastic are scattered all over the place. This is probably... those fire grenades that we used to put out the fire. Well, they weren't actually that used. Yeah, I just couldn't see that fire grenades would actually do something. Like I mentioned, I've never heard of fire grenades being used. Like, wouldn't it be more common with those fire extinguishers? This really isn't all that strange. What is this though? Monokuma's dead! There's blood coming out of his stomach! Hey. No response. He's dead, Jim. Oh, you. Oh, there you are. Just kidding, I'm not dead. Too bad. Is this one of the life-size plushies that were being produced at this factory? If you're mistaking a plushie for me, then there's something wrong with you. You're a stuffed animal too. Don't put oversized garbage there, it's so misleading. Why did he do it? Making a hole like it got stabbed and going to the trouble of dirtying the hole with blood. Did he try to imitate Nagito's body or something? I had nothing to do with that. Whoa there! You seem more pissed than usual these days, Monomi, but you better watch what you say. If I feel like it, I can wipe you out easily, you know. I will definitely take back the seat of world supremacy from Monokuma. If it wasn't Monokuma's trick, then who did this? Could the killer have done this? If so, is this Nagito's blood? I have no idea how this connects to the incident. See, I've been thinking this, and I think everyone has been thinking this ever since they played the first game, but really, all of these crimes are possible because none of these are investigators, they can't take fingerprints anywhere, and they can't analyze blood and determine who it is, who the killer is. So the game has to rely on these scenarios where everyone is isolated so that these kind of crimes can actually be committed. But yeah, I'm just stating the obvious. I never expected Nagito to die like this. He was always spouting nonsense about hope and trying to confuse the hell out of us. But even so, dying like this is just too cruel. Also, he wasn't completely useless. There were times we were only able to reach the truth because of him. But everything good and bad about him is gone. We'll never be confused by him again. We'll never be saved by him again. No. Now isn't the time to think about unnecessary things. I need to focus on the investigation right now. For now, I need to investigate everything about this body that catches my eye. Both of Nagito's legs are tied up. Each rope is tied to the pillars nearby. He wouldn't have been able to move at all. According to the Monokuma file, the wounds on his legs are all stab wounds. Does that mean the killer didn't just tie up Nagito, they also stabbed his legs? Why would the killer do something like that?
So.
At any rate, it's pretty sadistic. The killer must have been holding a huge grudge towards him. Or they might have been torturing him.
Huh?
I mean, if they just wanted to kill him, they could have just stabbed him once in the chest, right? If you disregard the spear in his chest, the other wounds were inflicted for reasons other than killing. Which means the wounds all over Nagito's body were from the killer torturing him. If that's the case, what was the killer trying to make Nagito confess? Was it something that would have led to the traitor? Well, even if this was torture, there's no doubt that the killer must have held a deep grudge towards Nagito, refusing to let him die easily. I can totally understand a dark impulse like that. But even if they held a grudge against him, why would they really have gone this far? I just can't see anyone having a grudge against him, you know. Which is why this is... Nagito's right wrist is tied with the rope. It looks like the tip of that rope burned off. Could this be a result of the fire? But that's weird. If the rope is burned off like this... Why are Nagito's clothes completely unaffected by the fire when he was so close to the blaze? The knife is stabbed through Nagito's right hand. Did the killer do this? How could they do something so cruel? This knife. It must be from the military base. Now that you mention it, you're right. It looks like a survival knife. By the way, it seems the wounds on his legs and left arm were caused by that same knife. Which means After the killer was finished stabbing Nagito's legs and left arm, they stabbed a knife through his right hand.
まさか
And then they finished him off with a spear.
なんてひどい
How cruel. Then, does that mean the killer went to the trouble of using two weapons? A knife and a spear? But they could have just killed him by stabbing him with the knife. Why did they need to use a spear at all?
確かに
That is definitely strange. Was there a reason they had to use it? A reason they had to use the spear, huh? There's a cut on his upper left arm. His legs and right hand have stab wounds, but this wound looks like a slice. That's probably the reason that the wound on his left arm doesn't look that deep compared to his other wounds. Well, regardless, it doesn't change the fact that it's a hideous wound and there's blood everywhere.
難易度高いな
There's something strange.
ほら
Look at the palm of his left hand. I think that blood is from when his left arm was sliced, but doesn't the blood splatter look strange? It cuts off right in the middle of his palm. Yeah, it definitely cuts off. Maybe that's as far as the blood could reach when it splattered.
えっと
Well, that would explain the blood on his palm, but
えっと
when you flip it over and look at the back of his hand,
あのね
here there's also blood, but only above the middle joint of each finger. You're right. Why is it only on this part?
ほらね
See, it's just as I said, right? It's strange, right?
どうや
I win! Yeah, sure, you win. That was random. But it's definitely strange. What did the killer do to make the blood splatter like this? Well... which one? Okay, let's go with this one. He must have been in great pain. He clearly had this agonizing look on his face when he died. His mouth is covered with duct tape. Was this to keep Nagito from screaming for help?
やべえなこりゃ
Jeez, what a horrible look on his face. The blood splattered all over it, doesn't help either. It's a good thing his mouth is covered with duct tape, otherwise I wouldn't be able to look at him.
えっと
Ah, got a minute. Sorry, excuse me. Shiaki moved past Kazuichi and me, and squatted down next to Nagito's face. And in one swift movement, she ripped the duct tape off of his mouth. Hey, what are you doing?
大丈夫だよ
It will be fine. I'll put it back right away once I'm done investigating here.
いやいやいや
Ah, the blood on Nagito's face. It looks like it mostly came from the slice on his left arm. If that's the case.
ああ
It's no use, she's not listening.
ねえね
Hey, about the blood splatter on his face. There's no blood under the duct tape.
あ
What's wrong with that?
あのね
This duct tape has crinkles, like it was sticking towards the inside of his mouth, right? Nagito was probably desperately moving his mouth under the duct tape. she means Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he got those wounds all over its body. Oh. So he tried to shout, which caused the duct tape to get sucked into his mouth a bit. But what's wrong with that? Is that something we really need to worry about? I don't really get it, but just put the duct tape back on his mouth already. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, this might be some kind of clue too. I should remember it. Level 60! I mean, this is horrible. I feel terrible. A spear with a flashy ornament on it is impaled deeply into Nagito's stomach. There's no way around it. That looks like the fatal wound. Oh my, what's this? Such a strange looking spear, isn't it? A cord extends from the tip of the handle and there's an iron weight attached to it. I see, I see. You use the cord as a whip to capture the enemy and deliver the final blow with the spear. This is the spear of Gungnir, right? I wanted to ask you, where did that spear come from? Well, based on this sentence, it's pretty clear. I feel like I saw it at Nezumi Castle. What? Nezumi Castle? I see. Even he doesn't know what's inside that castle. Well, more importantly, I need to focus on the investigation. The spear definitely catches my eye, but the weight on the end of the cord coming out of the handle... It looks like that part has blood on it too. But for some reason, this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. It's about the size of a human fist. It's strange that this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. Also, Shiaki mentioned this earlier, but apparently that spear came from Nezumi Castle. It might be better if I confirm that later. I guess I'm done with the area surrounding Nagito's body. Ah, jeez, I can't believe I actually investigated such a grisly looking body. Even I am surprised at myself. Does this mean I'm used to it? My classmate's dead body is right in front of me. And one of my peers is the killer responsible. And I have to investigate his death so I can find his killer. Am I used to something as abnormal as that? That would mean I'm becoming abnormal too. Now then, I guess that's enough investigating the area behind the curtain. The killer's goal wasn't just killing Nagito. There should have been another reason as well. If not, they wouldn't have gone to the trouble of tying him with rope and covering his mouth with duct tape. Not just that. There is no reason to inflict any wounds other than a fatal one. So what was the reason? Looks like I better investigate other areas to figure that out. Is there anything else to investigate even? This is an MP3 player. There's even a speaker plugged into it.
もしかしてよ。
It looks like that weird music was playing from there.
うん。
You know, that music that was blaring when the fire started. Looks like it's bursted from getting drenched by the sprinklers. There's no mistaking it. That music was playing from that MP3 player. Why was the killer playing music from this? That's strange. I don't know. Monokuma panels. There are a lot of tipped over Monokuma panels. The panel near the curtain in the back is tipped over and burned. Did the fire do this? Do that? But why are they scattered like this? The last time I came here I seem to recall they should have been neatly put away. Maybe we're the ones who made this mess. Look, the tipped over panel by the entrance is really close to the door, right? So maybe the reason these panels are... Could it be? Is that it? And there's something else I've been wondering. These Monokuma panels are tipped over starting from the entrance to the back of the warehouse, right? They seem to be lying on top of each other in a straight line. Yeah, compared to the other tipped over panels, that line is the only one that's neat and orderly. Isn't this clearly strange? Strange. That means... we can speculate this was done intentionally. I am not liking what I'm seeing here. At all. There's something I needed to ask her about. Now that we've pretty much finished investigating Nagito's body, I think it's time to talk to her. Hey, Sonia, do you have a minute? Yes, what is it? I want to talk to you about when that fake bomb Nagito said in the warehouse exploded. Huh? Right before it exploded, you said something like this, right? It is alright, it is not a bomb. Why did you know the bombs were a fake? Well... that's not all either. When we were looking for the bombs, why were you at the military base? I thought you were supposed to be searching the central island. Plus, when I called for you, you didn't come to the factory right away. Where were you? And what were you doing during that time? Oh my. Do you suspect me? It is a misunderstanding. I am not the killer. Jesus! Shit! You son of a bitch! Sonia? I am terribly sorry. I was panicking. I shall calm down and explain to you why I was at the military base. When I first explored the final island, I discovered a vast amount of bombs there. Wait, huh? The final island. Oh.
あのですね。
At first, I was worried that someone might use them for nefarious reasons if I announced it to everyone. So, I kept silent the whole time. Does that mean when you heard Nagito planted bombs, you got suspicious and went to investigate them?
それが
And as I suspected, the bombs had disappeared. I thoroughly searched for them inside the military base, but the bombs were nowhere to be found. Sorry. And because you were searching for them, you were late when we all gathered.
お聞きください。
And because of that, I reached a conclusion. The bombs Nagito brought were from the material. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just I thought someone had mistranslated one. Yeah, the bombs Nagito brought were from the military base, which means they were fake bombs. How did you find out that the bombs at the military base were fake? Because I attempted to use one of them. What? I thought one of the bombs would be strong enough to blast open the door to the ancient ruin.
あの
At the time, I still believed the bombs were real. And I thought that I could use one of them to gain entrance to the ancient ruin.
ですが、その作戦は
What the
失敗に終わってしまいました。
Are you doing there? I see you!
あの爆弾は本物などではなく、単なる花火に過ぎなかったからです。
Whew.
だってどちくしょう。
God damn it all to hell! I don't know why, but it's actually pretty cute when she's
そ
swearing.
うか
Because he's
それで
usually
お
so
前だけは
calm and
軍事施設の爆弾が偽物だって知ってたのか
sophisticated. So that's why you're the only one who knew the bombs at the military base were
私
fake.
と物見さんもですね。彼女もそれをこっそり覗き見していましたから。
Oh. Monami did as well.
つまり
If those bombs are the same ones that disappeared, it would mean Nagito took them. That is why I knew it was a fake. However, I did think it was strange when Nagito blew up the hotel lobby. Oh yeah. So what was that? Was that a real bomb? That bomb was real. And I could not stop thinking about it. But upon further reflection, that might have been Nagito's plan all along. He showed us a real bomb to make us believe that the bombs he set were real as well. But where did he get that bomb? If so, then Nagito's actions were extremely calculated. But the problem is his reason for doing it.
あの
With this, I have explained everything.
よろしいでしょうか。
There should be no more reason for you to doubt me. You're right. I got it. I'm sorry for doubting you once again. Although this time it wasn't really me, it was Hajime. I blame him. Alright, I pretty much finished looking for clues inside the warehouse. I was able to find some clues, but there are still so many things I don't understand. Yet.
待った。
You look worried! Thanks? I guess?
あのね、
At a time like this, it might be good if you broaden your investigation range. You mean it's good to investigate other places as well? She might be right. There are several things I've been wondering about besides the crime scene. The military base that Sonia mentioned. The plushy factory next door. Nesemi Castle, where the spear originally came from. And Nagito's room, too. If I'm going to understand the reason for his actions, I need to know more about him. I'm pretty sure the others have already finished investigating. Hey, you guys! Isn't it about time we leave this place and try exploring other areas too? In response to Chiaki, the others gathered around her. I agree. I was just thinking about proceeding to another area. It seems we had the same idea.
Huh?
But is it safe? There won't be anyone to guard the crime scene. We don't have a choice. There just aren't enough of us. Besides, we have investigated all we can here. I guess you're right. Also, it looks like the clues we found aren't enough to piece this incident together. So we need to search for them in other areas. Probably. Well, alternatively, if there aren't any clues in other areas either, we'd have to give up completely. You don't really need to say that.
No.
Then it's okay if we leave this place? It's okay? I guess so. There's no time for us to stand around. In order to survive, there is no other way except to do it. In order to survive, we need to find Nagito's killer. If we don't sacrifice that person, nobody... That's our reality. That's why there's no time for us to stand around. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a break here. So, I figure that next time we will finish up Deadly Life and the investigation phase, and we'll probably go through the first half of the trial. I don't know. I think I'm gonna... I don't know if I'll have time to do that in one go, but yeah. 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 This is this chapter, this killing, it's just so strange. I'm getting the same vibes as I did back in chapter 3 with Ibuki and Hiyoko. There's just something strange about this. Oh man, we are so screwed. I mean, during the class trials, Nagito was mostly the only one who... He was mostly the only reason why we got through the trials. And he's not here this time, so... This is like getting Kyoko killed from the first game. We would be so screwed. But yeah, as I mentioned before, well, I don't really have anything to say right now. We'll talk about it once we finish up this chapter. But yeah, this is a pretty confusing chapter, to say the least. So, but yeah, once again, thank you everyone for watching, and hope to see you around.